All right, today's reading. Let's get into it. No wasting time, no chit chat. Let's just go. I got 3 decks, 3 piles here. Spirit, what can you tell me for this collective today? Actually, hold on. Yeah, okay. We got Tall Poppy, Separation, the In Between in reverse, and Chamber of Forgiveness in reverse. Okay. So we're feeling a lot of disconnect around how we go about the world, but also there's a lot of internal work going on. As you're in this time of separation, you've been fighting the idea of the tall poppy syndrome. So the tall poppy is basically talking about there was this whole, it's not a theory, it's a story, really, that's meant to teach us about how to overcome this. Essentially within it, they talk about how the tallest poppy was always cut down because you couldn't be taller than the rest. You couldn't be bigger. You couldn't be, without humbleness and all this, like, I don't know, this ability to stand on your own 2 feet. Like, you had to be with the collective and you couldn't advance yourself. Like, you couldn't rise above, even though you knew your purpose was higher, or that, like, you're meant to be better versus who you surround yourself with, but they're like constantly bringing you down. And whenever I think about the tall poppy, I think about the crab bucket uh, thing as well. So that's a fun one to look into. Not really, but like when you have a bucket of crabs, it's the same idea of like they're constantly clawing to get up and get out and escape. But if somebody else is making it to the top, like within their crew, like, within their crew, within their bucket, they will pull down that one that's reaching up, and they will drag them down because they refuse to like let others go ahead of them. Like, it's very much like, it's this collective like pulling down, and this negative, like, yeah, it's not fun, it's not pretty, it's like it's survival. It's this deep rooted systemic belief that like you cannot be better than me because that's a poor reflection on myself, and I'm not willing to work on that, so you have to stay with us, doesn't matter what's going on. So with the tall poppy, it's like you have been in this constant state of separation because you're like, I feel like there is nobody around me that I can totally feel 100% myself with, or I can't advance myself as far as I want because the people around me, they don't want that. And like there's so much harsh judgment and all these things that are coming at me that feel like that crab pushing down, that tall poppy being cut. So it's like, how can I flourish if I am constantly being told to dim my light? And what Spirit is saying here is like, there's these two going on, but there's also this and this. So again, this is the in between and the Chamber of Forgiveness. So these are both in reverse, meaning that with this being in the reverse, to me, it signifies that the hard time is over. Like, you're still fighting it, but it feels like there's the hardest part is over. Like, it's very peaceful. It's very like it's a time of grief because it's like the people you thought were your friends, or the people that you thought you knew extremely well, their true colors are really showing now because they don't want you to be better than them, even though that's completely inaccurate. Like, that is a systemic belief that needs to go, but unfortunately the ego is so large that they can't even like get past that. So you've done the inner work to be able to advance yourself, and they feel that complete, it actually terrifies them. Like, they see that you're rising, you're like a shooting star in the sky, and they're like, holy cow, like, you're not the same, you've changed, you blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, that's the point of life, is to change, to enact boundaries, to do what you want to do in this life, what you've been called to do. It's a duty. It's a duty to the people as well as yourself, and to be able to share all the knowledge that you have garnered from this situation. And so what this is saying with it being in the reverse, it's like, to me, it's saying that the hard time is now over. Like, there's still remnants of it, and or maybe you still feel like you're in the thick of it, but like the wheel of fortune will change in your favor, and that time will come. Like, this is purely a lesson. Unfortunately, I don't know if they will, but like, you are meant to rise above it. So, and when you enter this chamber of forgiveness, this is the permission slip to go on. This is your ability to move forward with no regrets, and to know that like this is how you exit the in-between of like, I've let go of everything, but I'm not quite where I want to be. This is how you do that. Gratitude as well, but it's a deep reflection period at this time. Like, being in this space, like, grief is a lot of reflection as well. It's a lot of like remembrance. It's a lot of like the love that has now kind of transitioned into something else that can feel really painful, but it's because of that love and because of how you felt in those moments with these people. Like, that hasn't changed, and this is just part of that process. And so when you're in this is your ticket out, but also your lesson completed. Like, this is the wisdom that you're going to take away from this. It's harsh, it's cruel, it's not fun. I hate the idea of being all these retorts and nasty comments about people that don't, like, about you from people that don't even matter anymore, but they still kind of hurt. Like, I know for myself, like, I've been working on, there was a couple triggers that came up from stuff from over 10 years ago that I thought I was over this, but like, they come in to bring that perspective to you, to be like, oh, this is something I need to work on and feel to heal and release. So that's how you do that. When you go within, when you hit that point of like, I can no longer replay the story in my mind over and over and over again anymore, the tale of the victim, or the tale of, you know, what happened to you, and how atrocious it was, and all these things. Like, to me, this is actually coming up with a lot of like stuff from childhood as well now. Like, not to transition just from like your current situation, but it's like, that is such a reflection then to now. Now is like the closing out of that cycle entirely. So with this, it's saying that like, in order to do that, to release, you need to heal, and you have to do that by feeling the hard things. And that is the grief that is accompanied by what's going on. I would recommend, like, I know it sounds silly, but like, there's a bunch of roses and stuff here. I'd actually say go out and buy yourself some flowers. Maybe even do like a little ceremony and just say like, it's hard to grieve people that are still alive, but like, if it helps your soul to be able to move on, like, maybe that's a way you can go about it, is like, hold this like mini celebration of life in your mind, like, over the death of this friendship or the death of this relationship of some kind. I keep thinking a lot of family might be involved. Like, you might be, you know, in college, or like you're kind of at the state where you're like, you've just become a fully fledged adult at 18 or 21 or whatever, whichever country you're a part of. Like, you're at that like really almost vulnerable stage where it's like, I just don't know what I'm doing from here because my whole life has changed. But this is how you do that. And even for somebody that's like that stuff that happened in college, now you're feeling it, now it's finally catching up. There's a lot of things to reckon with, but like, it's okay. It's okay to feel it. You can enter this space, like enter a meditation and try to find something online, like a guided YouTube meditation. It can be either like voiced or not, but like, enter this chamber within yourself, do some meditative work and sit with it, and then allow, like, call your people and your ancestors or whoever you feel most safe with, and like ask them for protection and containment in a way. Like, ask them to help you as you release these emotions within, and you'll be surprised how quickly they come up. Like, they're ready to go, but you might be scared because you're like, oh my gosh, like, how is this still impacting me, and like, how am I able to like fully let this go if it's coming up? But like, that's the point. Like, it's coming up because it's ready to move through your body so it can be gone. And you can do that in nature. You can do that in just like a quiet space. Like, or again, do the whole like grief ritual type thing that you want to do to grieve your friendship or whatever type of relationship this is. It could be multiple things that have gone on that you're like, I'm ready to be done. It could be the identity of like the country bumpkin, or like, it could be this identity of like transitioning from small town to city life, or back vice versa, like grieving a lifestyle. It could be any of these things, but I do pick up more so like, this is definitely, again, it relates to the tall poppy of like, this has to do with other people, unfortunately, and people are not kind. When they know what your plans are, they will try to sabotage it, whether they realize it or not, in most cases. Like, unless you have your very trusted confidants, and if you're still feeling like you're alone, you're grieving because it was like the people you used to confide in, you're finally realizing like that they are not your people. Like, that's a really, really hard thing to face, and I've been there. time and time and time again. But just know that, like, that is your light shining outwards, and they just weren't capable of taking it. And that's fine. It's really hard to accept, but, like, you will know when and how to shine your light and to bring new people in. So you being in this in-between stage, like, you have to forgive these people. It doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean allowing what happened to happen again. Like, you can instill boundaries. You can reflect on that as well to be able to move forward on a stronger footing. So you're like, you can trust yourself now. And spirit might throw it, like, the universe might throw in a test after all this is done to be like, have you learned your lesson? Have you fully released this? It's going to, you know, people might come in that are a trigger, or once again, or, you know, like, there will be some form of like, hey, like, are you going to stick to these new boundaries you've just put in place? What are they, and how are you going to implement them, especially against these people, to keep yourself safe? Like, I'm not saying you need to, boundaries are not meant to be oppressive. Like, they're not meant to fully, like, it, like, do that. Like, it's meant to be a wall between you and the other person. It's not meant to impose, because that's not healthy when it becomes like a pressure. I know that's what they might have done in the past, but, like, now it's like you just need the wall up. You don't need it pushing. You just need it up. So this is like, that's the key, is doing that, and being ready, because it will come. It might be right away. It might be a long time, but, like, that will be the true test of, like, have you integrated this lesson? Sorry, there's release right there through the yawn, right? You might be feeling sleepy. You might be feeling like, I'm just so exhausted of this state. Like, I'm ready to move on. This is how you do it. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Forgiveness means forgiving yourself for being in this situation, forgiving them for what, you know, limited capacity they have. You can almost feel sorry for them. Like, they're not willing to reach this capability that you know you are capable of, especially when you become the tall poppy. Just regardless of whether what other people say. But it comes from this forgiveness, because I know it feels extremely heavy. It feels like, why does this keep happening to me? I keep shining my light and I keep getting rejected or shunned or full of judgment when I'm just trying to explain my piece and, like, a part of my heart. But the right people will come along. I can guarantee you that. I've been there so many times where I thought, I have nobody. I have absolutely nobody. And that's the universe putting you in this container so that you do focus on this healing, so that you do continue from there. And the people will come forward. I know I said this before, but they will. Continue to do what you do. Try to go outside a few times if you can, but of course, if you're still in this grieving process, like, honor that, like, as much as you can. I know we have jobs, I know we have different things where it doesn't allow us to do all that full integration of healing in one go, but you might be surprised how quickly this goes about. 1313 was just on the timer, which is a really beneficial number. It's symbolic of the goddess. I know a lot of people think that it's such a awful number and, oh my gosh, so spooky, but it's like, it's actually a positive thing. It was known. Apologies, someone's really tired. Lots of releasing that's going to come from this, and I think it'll be a good thing, because then your body can finally open up and bring the people in that it needs to. So yeah, it's really powerful. But sorry, before I forget, like, with the 13th, it's actually known as, like, a day of fertility and goodness and, like, positivity and all these things. So it's like, focus on that. Focus on whatever kind of goal that you have, like, work towards that as well. But the first one you have to do, that is essential, is forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself. You have to try to forgive them. Step into this chamber multiple times if you have to throughout your life. Whenever you are feeling these situations are coming up, that means that it's time to heal them. So enter this chamber, forgive. You don't have to forget, but it's time to implement some new boundaries, and I think you'll be better off. Yeah. I think the hardest part is over, even though it doesn't feel like it, because there's a lot of loneliness and grieving, but I promise you there is better. So 444 on the timer now. But yeah, there's a lot of light within this as well. It's very interesting seeing such a transition from, like, the darkness over here, this separation, but then it turns into this light, dark, light. Light at the bottom. And light all around, right? With you holding this darkness that you need to expunge, essentially. So, yeah, it's really, there is light, there is hope that I need you to focus on right now. And I will mention this as well. This woman has like this shining light coming out of her third eye. You can do this work. Like, you can make it your own, however you want to go about it. There is no fear, there is no judgment, there is nothing. It is between you and you now, and you need to let this go. So please enter the chamber, do what you need to do, release it, and be prepared for that test, okay? Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. But if you do want a personalized reading, feel free to go through my links down below. Yeah, in the description and everything. I believe it's also on my channel as well. But there are options to book. So if you do feel like you need something a little bit more, like more oomph and more direct, like feel free to take that option. I have like half an hour and an hour just to really like dive into everything. And yeah, we can go from there. But if not, we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for being here. You are just like the light of my life. Like I'm so happy to be building this collective. It feels so good. And I know it can feel really, again, disconnected right now, but there's so much better out there for you. So do the best you can, and you got this, okay? All right, we'll see you at the next one. Bye.